Hello everyone and welcome back to week 6 of how to improve our art skills. This week we're going to be looking at perspective. Now perspective comes in all different shapes and forms, and we can apply perspective to geometric shapes, to curve shapes, and we can stand at different angles, different points of view, and we can see something completely different. So what we're going to start off with this week is the 1-point perspective, and if you're on Patreon, you'll see more on that about the 2-point perspective as well. As the month moves on, we're going to be looking at other things as well. We might look at furnishings in interior design, where you might have an edge that's a little bit softer. We might have a look at things like foreshortening, because that's all about perspective as well. So grab your pencils and let's get started for today's session. All right, so grab yourselves a ruler, and if you don't have one, just grab something with a straight edge. The only thing I could find was this, so this is my ruler today. We don't actually need something with measuring points, so if you don't have a ruler, honestly, it's not the end of the world. This is absolutely fine. I'm also going to grab a 2B pencil. I don't know why I show that upside down, a 2B pencil, and that's all we need, folks. And a rubber, of course, if you make any mistakes, you can rub them out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the left-hand side because I want you to see both drawings next to each other. And all I'm going to do is start with my horizon line. So actually, I'm going to draw a very long horizon line that will go from all the way from the left side of the page to the right. Now, I want this to be parallel with the edge of my paper because my horizon line will always be completely horizontal. Okay, so the first thing I want to do on this side is start with a vanishing point. So this vanishing point, you may have seen it in pictures such as a train track when everything kind of heads towards there. So with any 1-point perspective, there is a rule of thumb, and we need to think about what shape is closest to us. For example, if I just drew just a regular square over here, a 3D square, we have the front face, we have the corner, and then we have the edge. So there is always one of these elements in our different perspectives that are closest to us. If we're drawing a 1-point perspective, the front face will always be facing us. And that means you're going to have this perfect rectangle, square, cuboid, whatever it is, but you always have vertical lines and you always have horizontal lines. So something to bear in mind when we're trying to figure out which image are we seeing, which perspective are we seeing, we're always seeing a front face. So with that in mind, let's start with our chair. Now, obviously with a chair, you have the backrest and then you have the seat. And our chair is going to cross the horizon line. So what we're going to do is think about what comes closest to us. And that would be the front bit with the legs. So all I want to do is start off with that. So bearing in mind this is it's a design, so you can do whatever you want. So I'm going to go for a straight line over there, and then I might actually do a parallel one with a little vertical line. So you see so far only horizontal, only vertical lines. Next, I want to go down here. How far is that going to go? Yeah, that's pretty decent for a chair. And I want to make sure this gap is the same on this side. So I turn my ruler to the other side. How far is that? So that goes down to here. Let me make that a bit bigger. Maybe a ruler could be quite useful at this point. Or I can just figure this out. Is that too far off? Well done, China. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, and then I want to go in and in, so get those the same, and then I want to go up, so I'm going to go up all the way, and same with this one, all the way, because my chair is going to have that wood in between. Okay, fabulous. So from here, now we need to start thinking about where the top of our chair is. Now, because of the perspective, we don't really know where the chair, the back of the chair should start and stop. So what I'm going to do is just draw some very faint perspective lines. Really, really lightly. I'm not pushing hard at all because I want to rub some of this out eventually. So this gives me an idea of what the chair would look like. So I'm starting to think, well, where would the bottom of the back of my chair go? Would it be here? Probably not, because then that means this chair is really bloody long. Would it be here? I think probably, to be honest, it's going to be quite shallow. So all I want to do then is I want to draw a horizontal line that goes across there, and immediately I'll just rib out those extra lines because ain't nobody needing them. Here comes the accent. Okay, perfect. So from here, I want to go up into the sky a little bit. So you notice how I'm using the leg just to check that it's vertical. So I'll go up, have a look. Is that big enough? Maybe. And let's check this side. So again, using that to see if it's vertical. I think that's all right. Maybe a touch bigger. Just a teeny tiny touch. Yeah. So remember, it's important to remember that anything that's further away from you is going to be smaller. So don't draw it the size that you imagine it to be because it's further behind. So it's going to be a little bit smaller. Now I've rubbed out my horizon line just whilst it's in this big shape because it's a little bit easier to see, and I can still see the dot in the middle, so that's good. It makes life easier. And then I want to do the back of the chair. So how do I want to design this? I'm going to go for horizontal line across there, and then I might actually do the same on the bottom, so trying to get it the same size. Yeah. And then I want to go for a ridge here. Ridge, I'm not sure if you can call it a ridge. Piece of wood. Support, some support there. And I kind of want to do two in the middle. Okay, this is a risk because I don't have a ruler. I really should have just got a small ruler, but all my rulers are so big. It's like, just too much. So let's see, this is a real leap of faith here. I know, I'm just going to move this over, and I actually think you could be a tiny bit thicker. Okay, so make you a tiny bit thicker, and then you are going to move, and then you are going to move. That'll do. Fab. Okay, so now what we want to do is make the rest of it 3D. So a rule of thumb with perspective is if your shape is below the horizon line, then that means we can see the top of it. So we're going to see this ridge, we can see this ridge. And then if the shape is above the horizon line, we can see underneath it. So we're going to see under there. And we're going to see any edge that faces the vanishing point, basically. So that face, that face, that face, that face. It all makes sense in a second. So for the legs, I want to figure out where the back legs are. So all I need to do is align myself with the vanishing point and the corner. And again, I'm going to draw a really faint line. And I'll do the same on the other side. So just notice how I pivot at the vanishing point. And then just draw that. And then I want to decide where do I want my back legs to go. So I'm going to start on this side and I'll go... Actually, I can just align it a little bit with the back. So if I go here, so it's not too far away. And then I want to roughly find the same spot over here. There we go. Again, you can measure like this distance with your ruler. I'm just going to draw this edge. There we go. And then I'll do the same here. I think I just faked that a little bit. Oh, they moved it all. Okay, good. And then because this, you see the angle there goes backwards. So I know that that's going to be the back of my leg. So I can do a skinny one on this side. But then to really complete that back leg, I need a horizontal line. I need that to be longer. So good, there we go for that. And then we need to do the same on this one. So we've got a tiny edge inside here. So I'll just draw that. Now, the trouble is, because this is so close to the vanishing point, if I did a perspective line from here to here, it's going to really cut across my my edge. So instead of that, there is a little cheats way that we can do it. So first of all, we want to just get this inside edge. So that's going to be really skinny. And then the same for this one. So we want to try and get them the same. And then now we switch sides because now we're facing the vanishing point. And then the same over here. Okay. So what we could do now is we can actually just attach these corner to corner. So we're going from the corner of there to the corner of our edge. Now it's so small that it's actually quite difficult to see. So maybe I'll make this one a little bit bigger because it's further away from the vanishing point. So just get those in there. So you see here, I'm just going to go corner to corner, corner to corner, corner to corner, corner to corner. Okay, so there's our chair, but I do think we should shade it just to make it a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to make a little rule for myself. Anything that's on the inside is going to be dark, and then anything on the outside is going to be medium, and then, well, outside facing us there. And then anything on the top is going to be really light. So if you follow these rules, I sound like I was going to cry there. Follow these rules. Then it will look very, very 3D. So let's get inside. It looks way tidier as well. There's quite a few lines that I was rubbing out there. But, you know, it just shows I'm normal, right? Maybe if you want perfection, you will get that with me, but we do make a mess along the way. And the ones facing us are going to be medium. So this one is medium. So basically it's any rectangle that is, it's any perfect rectangle that is facing us. There, all of these. Oh, I just skipped the front ridge there on the chair. I think it's actually a ridge. I said the right word. So I'm not worrying about what pencil I'm using because it's all about perspective, this one, but I do want us to see the 3D effect. I think that's really important. Okay, good. And then I think these ones, I might just see if I can make them extra dark because they won't have any light facing towards it. So I'm really pushing it down. And then, I mean, here's the perfectionist in me. You don't have to do this, but just a slight shadow under here. You know, because we're pros at gradients now, so I'm just trying to get that gradienting down and then move that across on this side. Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I mean, this won't be completely white, so if you wanted to, you can do, like, just a touch of... Oh, it looks like wood. Perfect. There you go. Make some wood. All right, there we have it. There we have a 1-point perspective with a chair. Now, I would recommend that you try this chair or even just a very, very simple geometric shape to follow the rules of the 1-point perspective. In case you're not aware, there are videos on 1-point perspective, 2-point and 3-point as well. So hopefully you found that useful and see where you can apply it. Have a look at something in your room and stand right in front of it and see what happens to the shape. All right then, folks, thank you for joining me again. And hopefully you've done all that boring admin where you've got to rate and subscribe and whatever, the boring stuff. All right, I'll see you next week for another lesson.